Hey guys, welcome to another video. This video we're going to be fitting the engine to the back of this. The reason we need to do the engine in the back of this, we need to get that in, and then we need to get our rear bulkhead fitted. Once we've got our rear bulkhead fitted, we can fabricate the chain system and the drive system on the back. So that's probably the biggest job we've got to do at the moment. So we get the engine in. We don't need to necessarily worry about wiring yet, but that's the main thing, is to get it in so that we've got the dimensions all correct and everything bolted up, so we can start our chain drive system, which I'll explain maybe with the whiteboard. Maybe I'll get the whiteboard and explain that. I'll go to the whiteboard in a sec and explain what we're doing. Then once we've done that, I'm going to try and get the engine running. Not today, that's another video, but we'll get it all wired in, we'll get all our fuel system sorted, and then we will attempt to get the paddle shifter sorted, which I'll make an entire video out and show you that myself on its own. So I'll go over to the whiteboard and show you what we're doing with the drive system, and then we'll go from there. So, normally the pug sits in this spot, that's why it does that. But the reason we've got to work out what we're doing is I'm doing what I would call a half shaft. I think I have explained this in a previous video, but that was 10 years ago, so we'll just do a refresh. So we've got the front of it's a terrible line, but the front of the chassis with a roll hoop here at the moment, that's what we've got. And then we've got the rear framework that comes to here, and then our bulkhead, and our engine obviously sits in here. It's a bit like a penis. So we're going to do drive from here, and then the chain will come to the back of the bulkhead here, and then that will travel along a shaft. So if this was a plan view, there's the rear bulkhead and the engine's this side. The chain will come from here to a sprocket on the bulkhead here, and then a drive shaft will come across here, and then the differential case that comes back this way, the diff is in the middle, like that. And then this chain will come from here back to here. Yeah, I've seen it done before, but it really isn't done very often. It was my attempt to get the differential directly in the middle of the car, so each drive shaft is exactly the same length. That's why I've done it. I have no idea if it's going to work. I've heard of this shattering when they first put power through it, but I've bought components that should be more than strong enough for it. So this is a bit of an experiment. If this doesn't go well, we'll simply just run like what everybody else does. We should just run an offset differential and have a longer shaft and a shorter shaft. You get torque steer and stuff though, so that's why I'm going to attempt to run the diff in the middle at the back. So what we're doing now, sit the engine there, and then this little bit of bulkhead here, that means we can get that bit sorted, and then we've already done the diff in the middle. So in theory, once this is done, the engine should like spin the wheels and stuff. I think I've explained this one before as well, but just to recap for anyone that's not seen it, this is the engine 1100 or 1137, which means it's more than 1100. So it means I'll be out of the 1100 class, I think. But 1100 Blackbird Honda engine, 150 horsepower standard carb model. The upside of this engine is if I want to upgrade and go with the injected model, the bolt pattern is exactly the same, so I could just fit an injected engine. Obviously you have the wiring and management to sort on that, but this would be a bolt straight fit, and I just have to sort the wiring and management out. So, and then if I am rich enough and crazy enough, I think I could go turbo, injected and turbo engine, but I genuinely think this is probably going to scare the crap out of me anyway as it is, so we're going to stick with this for a long while yet. But yeah, this is what we're about to throw in.
So here you can see, guys, I'm about to start putting the engine in, as she appears from the left. That's quite nice, isn't it? And you'll see how, look, I'm obviously getting these little wiring looms and stuff out of the way, but how light this chassis is, you'll see me in a second. Pick it up in one arm. Ready? There you go. Either I'm really strong, or it's quite a light little chassis. So those arms that I'm actually picking up there, I'm actually going to make those removable at some point, because it'll be a lot easier at getting the engine in and out. So this little framework here, you can see, would all be one piece, and you would just push the whole thing up to the back of the chassis, bolt it at the top, bolt it at the bottom. job's a fish. Also, you can see in a second, you can see the little legs coming out from the top arms, and that's for the bolts to bolt the head of the engine to the car. Those really need to be removable from the chassis, not because what I'm doing there is just bolting it straight into the car, and you're bolting it into what is a wire thread insert in an aluminium head. And if you just keep trying to force those, eventually I'm just going to destroy the threads. So yeah, I need to cut those off at some point, make a nice little bush, and bolt those to the car, and that'll be a lot easier for getting the engine in out as well. But they do go in quite nicely. You can see it's reasonably well lined up, and I'm not having to do that much fettling to get the engine in. So another little thing you can see my exhaust just poking out from either side there. I've got two tubes coming out of both sides, so they're 46mm tubes at the exit point there. I'm just going to weld a V-band clamp on that, and just below the table that I've got the car on, you can see my two exhausts there. They're going to get chopped to about 20 centimeters long to make them smaller cans, because I don't need it to be, because it's loud in a workshop, but it's not too loud once you're outside. So I'm going to chop those exhausts down in half and make them into a smaller piece, and then so V-band clamp, and then it's going to go like a stake and go straight at the top of the bodywork at the top of the car. I've actually have no idea how well that's going to go, but we shall see. What else have we got? The engine frame. You can see what I'm doing here. I've disappeared off to do here is go find some bolts, because when I push the engine up to the chassis, you can see the frame that's mounted to the engine already is where you bolt it to the chassis. So just underneath the exhaust there's two bushes, and it bolts directly into the bottom of the chassis, which is quite nice. And you can see here I'm using one of my favourite tools in the whole world, my electric ratchet. But also what I'm doing here is you aren't really seeing what I'm doing, where the bolt's going. So I do know that I need to be better at the old POV thing, at showing you guys what I'm actually up to rather than the after shot. So I'm going to work on that a little bit more. You just see I'm sticking that second bolt in. We're nearly done here. After all this, we got wiring and things like that. You can see the dropping the stand away, and that's it.
I mean, I'm going to keep going on about them, and I've made a social media post about these Comoxes, but they are so good. Turns into the air, lift the front of the car up. Oh, it's so handy. The only problem with it is I've got no T-piece, so I can't use the rear one and the front one just yet, but that's probably a motivation to go and order one, if anything. So yeah, we're just gonna, let me just rotate the camera a little bit on its stand. Literally just lifted it up, move the stand back to take the weight of the engine. There we go, lovely. Yeah, hopefully we'll get no toppling.
This is purely just me showing off a little bit. It's a little bit of a shame I've not got my Camozzi on the rear there. That would be really cool. But I'm just showing from the outside how handy Camozzis are for just lifting the car up and down. And those race mechanics, if they're already watching, they'll be like, "Oh, these are just what we use every day." But it is actually, it makes such a big difference. Because before I used to have to pick this up with two tables, or I had like a block and tackle to lift the car up and down with. But you just put these in, plug these into air, up and down. Job is a fish. Annoyingly, I keep recording with the radio on. It's something I need to work on, so we'll voice over this bit instead. So yeah, what we're doing now, we're just fitting this rear bulkhead to the car. And then after this little piece, I'll show you exactly what we're going. You can see the chain direction from here anyway, but that's what we're going to show you next.
Okay, so I'm going to just demonstrate to you here why we need to do what we're going to do with the rear bulkhead. So you've got the rear chain comes out here. So there needs to be a slot big enough here to run the chain through. There will then be sprocket on this shaft, And then, is this going to fall out? I don't know. Let me go back to the stand. Yeah, so sprocket will sit on that piece, and then the sprocket will sit. It's not going to want to go down here because this needs polishing. Oh no! All right. So yeah, we'll have a chain to here, chain to the centre of the diff, which is just that here. We're not, yeah, you can see the frame is just here. So sprocket, spinny. We need to put obviously nice big a big bearing here, big bearing here, big bearing here to hold it all. So yeah, our sticker is this bit here. This is quite difficult. We're basically going to have to, like if I put that sprocket where it's getting to be. Right. This is going to have to, this is something where I'm not sure how it's going to work. It's going to have to go like that, or it's going to catch here, or catch here. So yeah, that's the next part, and the next video will be once I've got home. I've got a bit of work next week, so not one way to put it. I'll cut that right there. The next week I'm away working, so we'll have to think about this while I'm away. I have got the parts. I've got the bracket, bearing for this part. It's just how I'm going to make it fit on here, so that the diff framework, which is here, it's right here, this still goes on. Nothing is in its own way, and we're not going to get anything destroy the metalwork that's already here by the chain spinning, because obviously no matter how you shim these, there's always a little bit of play because you don't want them too tight. So that's the next video. I expected this to be a bit longer actually, but the engine went in quite nicely, which I suppose means I've done a reasonable job.
I am not sure what happened here, but for some reason my phone decided to film this in slow motion, so I've had to double the speed and there's no audio with it. So this is probably me saying something along the lines of, thanks for watching me fit the engine to my racing car. The next video will be me hopefully fitting the brackets to the rear of the bulkhead there. That'll be involve a little bit of TIG welding work. And then working on how to space that shaft with either shims or with slots and trying to get that right. Oh, look at me moving my hands there. I got a little bit early with the voiceover there. I'm trying to remember what I actually said. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you can. It helps me out quite a bit. And then all of my links to my social media stuff and my website are all in the description. And we will see you on the next video.